right, it is Sunday night. Sunday night? It's Wednesday evening on June 2nd, and just we're wanting to welcome some friends to join with us, and hope somebody comes in and connects with us here pretty quick. So one of those things, you just kind of wonder if anybody's going to show up. So I'm going to see if I can tag some friends. There's Royda, and there's Linda, and there's Sharita, and there's Becky and Beverly. Let's see, Peggy and Tom, are they going to join us? And Walter, Linda and Jennifer, Mary Alice, Mary Hepler. Let's see. All right, let's see. Hey, we got 6 people. Uh-oh, getting ready to lose my screen. Hey, Melinda Owens, good to see you. Welcome. Miriam, hello, Bob and Miriam, welcome. Lisette, Linda, Rida, good to see you guys. I was on here for like 3 minutes earlier. Nobody joined me. I was like, nobody was going to come out. So there's Linda. Hey, Mark, welcome from Manassas. Lisette, I'm so proud of you. You've got your family joining us. Hey, there's Ista from Alabama. And I just wanted to start out singing with a banjo on her knee, but I won't. And so Peggy and Tom, good to see you from North Carolina. Ista, I miss your family. Lord have mercy. I hope they're doing well out in Africa. And Nancy Stepp, welcome. Suzanne Moore. Suzanne, I've got Yachty. Yachty is here, but he's not impressed with the camera, so he's going to get down now. Hey, Nancy and Ronnie, good to see you, friends. Welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are doing well over there. Good to see you. I think next week I'm going to have Jordana Ayler with me. Hey, Joan and Morgan, good to see you, friends. Marge Danner, you made it on time. Glad you made it. Good to see you. Rida, hope you're doing well. So we've got a number of people joining with us, and so glad to have you guys connecting. This is our Wednesday night Bible study. We're focusing in on stress tonight, and I know nobody deals with stress, so that's talking about somebody else because none of us are. Hey, Linda, good to see you. Linda, thank you for dinner. Ista, I hope they come back soon. I hope they're able to come back to the United States soon. I am missing them and missing those kiddos. So, Suzanne, welcome, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Peggy and Tom from NBC-NC. Good to see you. Welcome. Hey, Ryda, did your mom come to church on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock? I thought I saw her in the back of the building, but I didn't get back to see her in time after the baptism. Nancy Curley, welcome from Connecticut. Good to see you, my friend. I hope life is treating you well up there. We still miss you down in Manassas, Virginia, but glad you're with us, Nancy. Good to see you. If somebody sees Eva come in the room, please let me know. Need to recognize Eva today. We are never stressed. That's exactly right. Well, that's what we're talking about tonight. That's what we're going to talk about, some ways to deal with, healthy ways to deal with stress. And got a really good email, and I thought that could turn that into a neat Bible study. And so we're going to focus in on dealing with stress tonight. And I thought that was good. Rida, I'm so glad. I'm so glad she came to church. When you have a chance, send me a message on Facebook. I would love to call her and thank her for joining us. So please, if you would send me a message on Facebook so I could reach out to her, I would like to reach out to your mom, and I would like that a lot. So that'd be good. So as you're logging in and checking in today, if you have some prayer requests, you can write those down. We'll start focusing in on those. Dan and Becky, nice ice cream social you had today. Thank you for doing that. Becky did an ice cream social for 2 of our senior adult ladies who are leaving our church and are moving to Forest, Virginia. Hey, Linda and Ed Savakul, good to see you guys. And they got sick, so there were 10 of us who met, and our guests of honor did not show. But we did have some good ice cream. So Becky Werner, thank you very much. That was awesome. Hey, Larry Page, good to see you, bud. I hope you're healing well and everything is good after your fall and surgeries and all those things that go along with that. So good to see you, Larry. If you have prayer requests, please take a moment and write those down. That would be greatly appreciated. And we can come together and pray here in just a second. I've got a number of things I'd like to share with you about some prayer requests and just kind of focus in on. But anyway, I'll start that while you are writing some things down, and we'll go from there. First thing, Beverly Thomas, who normally joins us on Wednesday nights, she is down in Tappahannock. She's not going to be with us tonight. Beverly found out her next steps to deal with the cancer she was diagnosed with, and she called me right before. She wanted me to tell you that she appreciates your prayers. She said last Sunday when she left our Bible study online, she said, I felt like I was hugged by a lot of people. So I appreciate your support for Beverly. She's not going to be watching this tonight. She might be watching it tomorrow. So just be aware of that. Also want to let you know that Irma Reedy, a longtime member of our church, been involved in our church for a lot of different things. By the way, I'm not seeing anything pop up. Are you guys? There's Megan. Okay, so people are still here. I was worried that things were a mess, but anyway. So Irma Reedy has been in the hospital at Nova Fairfax, which is a pretty major heart center. She's having some real challenges. She's back in the ICU, and I just want to invite you to be in prayer for Irma as they continue to try to care for her. I haven't heard from our buddy Jethro, who moved to South Carolina. He has been battling some cancer, and he's been declared cancer-free. And so, just invite you to remember my friend Jethro. Thank you, Linda. That's what I was guessing. Something was going on there. Pat Gatewood, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Tell Johnny I said hi. Today at lunch, I had a very, very sad situation take place. I took John Button out for lunch for his birthday. Now, his birthday was 2 months ago, and we've been trying to go to lunch for 2 months. So today I took him to lunch for his birthday. And while we were having lunch, I got an email or text message from a friend in Florida who went out to dinner with a friend on Friday night. And on Saturday, his friend killed himself. And sometime Saturday, he mailed a letter to my friend and told him why he did what he did. And today, my friend got that letter after the suicide, after all the things they needed to do, and he sent me a picture of the letter, and it was just heartbreaking. And so that's just hard. And so I'm not going to use my friend's name tonight, and I'm not going to do that. But I just invite you to pray for my friend who's dealing with some hard loss, and the family of the person who passed away. Hey, Bonnie Parker, good to see you, friend. Welcome. Glad to have you with us. So that's that. Eva, who's generally with us, I don't think she's with us right now, but Eva sent me a text message today and told me that today is the 10th anniversary of her husband's death. And so if Eva pops in or you see Eva, show Eva some love, because today's a hard anniversary on the 10th anniversary of her death. Any other prayer requests that you have that you can pop up there? Yes, yeah, prayers for my friend. That would be much appreciated. So that would be good. Yachty is barking at I don't know what, so I'm going to try and keep him on a short leash right now. Yeah, for his family. Hey, Jeff Holman, good to see you, bud. Missed you last week, so glad you connected with us today, bud. Anything to be thankful for? What things do you have to be thankful for today? Anything you want to share a word of thanksgiving for? Any words of thanksgiving? We can share those as well. Anything going on? Thank you, Ida. I appreciate that. Any prayer requests tonight? Or anything to be thankful for, excuse me. Anything to be thankful for. Well, guys, I'm going to, since everybody's kind of quiet tonight, I don't know if we've got a slow connection this evening or what the story might be. Hey, Kenny Shoemaker, glad you're with us, bud. Welcome. Yeah, Becky, a beautiful day. Had some ice cream. I was glad to take Johnny Button out for his birthday, 2 months late, and that was fun. Also, Monday night, I took out a military doctor and celebrated Memorial Day with him. He is the fellow who I mentioned on my message on Sunday that has 27 tattoos on his chest from soldiers that he lost in Afghanistan, and so he had an opportunity to recognize his sacrifice and his service and all those who didn't come home from Iraq and Afghanistan. Yes, Faye, it was good to see you today at the gathering today, so that was fun. All right, guys, well, let's have a quick word of prayer, and then we will get started. Lord, we are grateful for this night, for a beautiful day, for the cool wind, and for just the beauty of being outside. We are praying for our friends who are gathered across the country and around Virginia, and we pray, God, your blessings on this time that we have, that we might be encouraged, that we might find some support, that we might just learn a little bit about ways to properly deal with stress. As we think of friends who are going through difficult days, we are reminded of those who are hurting. For my friend in Florida who lost a friend to suicide this weekend, God, we ask for your comfort for both families, that you would give them strength as they walk through the valley of the shadow of death. We pray, Father God, for Beverly, that as she prepares for the very radical treatments to deal with cancer, we ask God for your grace, your healing, and your protection. We pray, Father, that you would calm her spirit as she has to be just consumed with anxiety about these developments. Father, we pray also for our friend Jethro, that you keep him healthy and well. And we pray also, God, for our friend Irma Reedy, that you would help her body to respond to all the trauma that she's had in recent days with the surgeries and dealing with her heart. And God, we give a prayer of thanksgiving for our friend Jethro, that you continue to help him to heal well, and to recover. Thank you, God, for the opportunity we have to be together tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys. Well, there you go. I see my buddy Lee Kanak is popping in from Oklahoma. So, Lee, welcome, bud. I have a few dad jokes, and tonight they are courtesy of Mr. Bob Beecher. So, Bob Beecher, if these fall flat, it's on you, buddy. It's on you. You cannot blame the messenger. It's just the message. So, it's on Bob. Bob, I'll send his email address out later. But anyway, so Bob, thank you for sending me these, and I hope these work. First one. This is kind of a historical dad joke. Do you all know, and are you aware, that French fries actually were not originally cooked in France? Are you aware of that? They were actually cooked in Greece. That's a good one. I don't care what you say. That's a good one. French fries not originally cooked in France. They were cooked in Greece. Don't think I need to explain any more about that, but that's a good one. Here's another one. And this is kind of a big one. So if a child refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? I messed that up. If they refuse to take a nap during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? I don't know if there's any police officers out there, but they might be able to chime in and help us with that. And the other thing is, if the kids aren't guilty of that, maybe the parents could be arrested for kidnapping. I don't know. Somebody, police officers, more experienced than I, maybe you can answer that. I'm not aware. You know, I've been married to Veronica for 32 years, and the other day we got into a really good argument, and she started yelling at me, and she said, "You haven't listened to one word I've said, have you?" And I thought to myself, what a strange way to start a conversation. Seriously, who starts a conversation like that? But that's another story. Here we go. What do you call... Oh, Eddie, come on, Kenny Shoemaker. That was good. That was good. What do you call a dog that can do magic? What do you call a dog that can do magic? It's a labracadabrador. Labracadabrador. That, you need to say that 5 times really fast and see if you can do it. Labracadabrador, labracadabrador, yeah, that's a good word. JL Tony, I've missed you from Buckingham, buddy. Welcome, man. I'm glad to see you here. What do you get when you cross a vampire with a snowman? What do you get when you cross a vampire with a snowman? Frostbite. That's a good one. I like that one, Bob. Here's another one. How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? Does anybody know? 10. 10 tickles. Tentacles. Bob, those were good. I liked them. So you can go ahead and send me some more next week, and we will roll with those. I feel like I need to be David Letterman and throw these over here, but I won't do that because then I wouldn't have my Bible study. Oh, Chris Kessler, welcome, bud. Good to see you. So JL Tony, got a question for you. Are you guys back at the Grove yet? Have you guys opened back up for church at the Grove down in Buckingham? I'm curious. There's a lot of churches that still haven't done it, and I'm just curious. Have you guys reopened at the Grove? So when you got a second, please let me know. Please let me know what you guys are doing there. And thank you, Linda Hagerman. You can thank Bob Beecher because those were all Bob Beechers, and you got to give Bob props. And so good. JL, when did you guys open back up, buddy? When did you open back up? And what's your attendance like? Are you guys at full capacity? Are you at partial capacity? Or how are you doing right now, JL? I would love to hear that. In fact, yes, very Becky Werner just gives some bravos to Bob Beecher. We'll be glad to have Bob Beecher back singing with us in the choir soon. So those were good. Anything, JL, whenever you have a chance, just drop that in there. Hey, Barbara, good to see you. I was so glad to see you in Braxton today. There's my buddy Erlene Morgan. Erlene is a mountain biker. She's a lawyer, and she's got a great story, and always glad when Erlene And I don't know if Kenny's with her, but I hope Kenny's doing well. Kenny's her husband. So Erlene, good to see you. So tonight we're talking about stress. And again, I said this earlier, none of us deal with stress. None of us have any stress at all. I mean, we live pretty stress-free lives in the United States. We live very stress-free lives in Northern Virginia. We don't have any traffic in Northern Virginia. We don't have expenses in Northern Virginia. Our property values are very low and very reasonable. And tell Kenny I said hello and tell him we continue to pray for him, Erlene. So life in Northern Virginia is always easy. I mean, there's no political discourse. There's no struggles about COVID. I mean, it's really a panacea here in Northern Virginia, right? No, it's not. So here's the deal. When we try to do stuff and, hey, Karen, good to see you. And I hope you're not texting and driving. You can watch, but don't be texting while you're driving, Karen Borzinski. So many times we try to please people in our life. Whatever life we lead, whatever life we live, whether it's family or, yeah, that's exactly right, Mary Alice Corder. That's a bunch of hooey, you know that's right. And if we try to please one group, we're going to get another group of people mad. That's the same way it is in our business, in our neighborhood, in our church, in life. That's thank you, Mark. You're right. If we try to please another group, the second group gets upset with us. So that generates some stress and generates some real challenges. 1 minute in our family life, we can be the absolute hero in the family, and the very next minute we can be a total zero. Danielle Stubbs, welcome. Glad you're joining with us. Tell those Crowder boys I said hello. Good to see you, Danielle. And so you think about this in life, in our prayer life, or maybe in our spiritual life, we might have some people who pray for a specific team to win a football game or a baseball game, or a specific team to win a soccer game or to win a lacrosse game. And you know, whoever's going to win, somebody else is going to lose, and somebody's going to be upset. And so, hey, thank you, Don Davidson. Welcome, my friend. We have people who are going to pray for rain or snow. They're going to pray for sunny days. They're going to pray for good days. They're going to pray for everything. And there's going to be some people that aren't going to get what they want and what they're praying for. We're going to have some people who are going to pray for candidate A, and some people who are going to pray for candidate B, and we're going to have some people who pray for whatever candidate's out there, and their candidate is not going to get elected. If God can't please all of these people, do you think you can? God can't please everyone, and neither can you, and neither can I. And when we try to play a game in our life where we try to please people all the time, we're setting ourselves up for a pretty big disaster. And that's true in whatever venue we're in, whatever business we're in, whatever walk of life we're in our family life, in our relational lives. That's just going to happen. And one of the things we have to consider as we deal with these things is, who are we seeking approval from? Who are we trying to find approval from? Is family, parents, kids, boss, co-workers? What venue of life are we trying to find approval? Because when we try to understand who we're trying to please in life, that's a big deal of understanding where our stress is coming from. And we're going to be talking today about dealing with stress and how we find approval in life. And finding approval, I think Jesus is a pretty strong model of this, and I think it's something that we need to consider for a bit. So one of the first things we talk about in dealing with stress is checking out what our motivation is. And think about this for a second. Checking out what your motivation is. Jesus, he lived to serve an audience of one. Jesus lived to serve an audience of only one. When you think about what Jesus was doing, he wasn't trying to win a popularity contest. Jesus got crucified. People rejected Jesus over and over and over again. But Jesus was focused on doing what God called him to do, and Jesus ultimately did what he was put on earth for. That is what Jesus did. And so when we think about this, I want you to hear this text in the book of John, in John chapter 5, verse 30. It says, "By myself I can do nothing. I judge only as I hear, and my judgment is just. For I seek not to please myself, but to please him who sent me." So one of the first things that we have to think about when we consider what our motivations are for life and living and things of that nature is, who or what is our motivation to please in this world? So I want you to think about this real quick. And this is a quick one. This is an easy one. And this is my first question for you. What motivates you today? What motivates you to get up, go to work, do your thing? What motivates you to go shop? What motivates you to pay bills? What motivates you to take care of your... What motivates you for life today? Give me some answers. What motivates you for living today? What is it? What are some things that motivate you for life? Shoot me some answers, please. And I hope we can shoot them quick because I'm really seeing a delay in my responses here. So anything that motivates you, what is it that might motivate you? Is it work, a paycheck? Is it family? Is it making, your children and students? Good answer, Megan. I'm going to tell Kenny, you didn't say Kenny. Lisette, your kids. I like that. Jacob, hey, buddy, welcome. Good to see you, sir. Your family. That's a big motivation, isn't it? What else? What else motivates you today? What else is it that, Dan, a sense of doing what needs doing. That's a good word. I like that. What else might motivate you today? All right, there you go. That's a good word, Rita. Reading the Bible. Kenny, shoemaker, family. Good word. I like that. What else? What else motivates you? I'm looking for 3 more. Shoot me 3 more. What else motivates you? Mark Facemeyer, trying to make the world a better place. Brother, that's a good one. Love of what I do and love of others. That's a big motivation. Barbara, family. And by the way, we love seeing your family at church on Sunday, Barbara. That was beautiful. Family and health. Lee Kanakis, you were taught and you were raised to do the task. I don't know what that word there means, but that's close, right? Do the task. Helping others. Yeah, I know, Kenny. That's a good one. I like that. Having morning devotion. I like that. That kind of motivates you to do the right thing. There's another verse in Luke chapter 16 and verse 13, and this is what the scripture says. No servant can serve 2 masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he'll be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. And I think it's really important that we check what our motivations are as we begin our life, as we deal with our life, as we go through our life. Whether that's in our church community, whether that's in our neighborhood community, in our work life, in our neighborhood, in our family, across the spectrum. What is it that motivates you? What is it that motivates? Is it money? Is it status? Is it power? Is it prestige? Is it climbing whatever the ladder might be that you're looking at? What is it that motivates you to succeed? And I think there's some motivations in our life that create more stress. If your motivation is to have more, there might be some real challenges that are going to come along in your life. And maybe the motivation is to make people happy. There might be some real stresses that are going to come in your life because people are not going to always be happy. To be popular, if that's what's motivating you, there are going to be some real challenges that are going to come along in that direction. And so one of the big deals in dealing with how we process stress in our lives is understanding what is it that motivates you to get up, to go and do and be engaged in your life. Second thing that I think is important in dealing with stress is, first one was kind of understanding what motivates you. The second one is this idea of having a sense of concentration and being able to focus in and do the things that you need to do. Now, I joke that I have ADD squared, and that's kind of a joke. I don't know if it's a joke or if it's actual reality, because when I'm out here, I mean, I've seen squirrels and foxes, and my dog jumps all over and runs all over, and I can get distracted in a nanosecond. People drop through or scroll through, and I'm able just to stop my Bible study and just start talking to this person or that person, like I did with JL a few moments ago, Lee Kanakis just now. And I don't know if that concentration is good. I don't know if it's bad. I don't know what it is. But there are times when we really need to be able to stay focused to address the responsibilities we have. I mean, think about this. If you're distracted all the time, and you've got a project at school, or you've got to write a paper, and you're constantly turning on the television or playing whatever game you're playing, or you're out doing whatever it is you need to do that isn't really that important, those distractions can really set you back in getting your job done. Your job needs to get done, and if your job doesn't get done, that's going to generate and create and compound the stress that you have in your life. I mean, think about this. You sit down to start writing a paper, or and by the way, I'm old, so I actually write with a pen. And if you sit down to write a paper, and you've got your cell phone on, your cell phone can give you distractions about every 13 seconds. An email alert, a text message alert, a phone call alert, a Facebook update alert, whatever games you're playing up there. If you've got 2 emails programs on your phone, you can get interrupted over and over and over and over again. And that's not a good thing. On Thursdays, I try to go into my office in the sanctuary building to work on my sermons. And I try to get in there and I turn my phone off. I've got my email notifications off, and I try to spend the day just focusing in. Because if I start answering all my phone calls and text messages and whatever alerts I get, it can be so distracting. And so we need this sense of concentration that comes along. And I want you to hear this verse in Luke chapter 9 and verse 51. Listen what this says. As the time approached for him to be taken up to heaven, Jesus resolutely set out for Jerusalem. So this message that Jesus is conveying is, Jesus resolutely set out for Jerusalem. He was focused. He was concentrated. He was ready to go and do whatever it was God wanted him to do. He was ready to get engaged with that. We sometimes lose our focus on what's really important. Have you ever been to a restaurant and you see a couple having a meal, just the 2 of them, and both couples have their heads down on the phone? You been there? Maybe more importantly, that been you, and it's kind of a tough situation. It happens. I know it happens, but that kind of distraction and concentration, that's not exactly the best thing to happen for marriages. What you guys have seen the videos on YouTube when somebody's walking and they're holding their cell phone and they're just walking, reading, and they walk right into a hole, or they walk into a door, they walk into a wall, and the phone goes flying. I like the video where the person's walking and they fall into a water fountain. It's like, come on, people, pay attention to what's going on in the world. We all know how dangerous it is to drive and to text and drive and to check your phone, but unfortunately, we see people who still do that. One that I hate is when I'm at a playground or I'm around kids and I see kids who are trying to engage with their parents, and their parents won't even look at them because they're totally wrapped up in their cell phone. I hate that. That bothers me, because there is nothing more important than those children and putting that stupid phone down. Now, I get we've got to get on our phone sometimes. I get that. But you've been to Chick-fil-A, you've been to McDonald's, you've been to restaurants where it's a parent and a kid, and that parent won't even look at that child, and they're totally enraptured in that silly phone. Watch this. Jotty, come here, buddy. Come here. So this is my 1-year-old dog, Yachty. And if you've been coming, you've seen me. Yachty is a dog. He has a brain the size of a peanut. Yachty hates my phone, because when I get home at night and I'm trying to relax, I will play a stupid game, Words with Friends, and I like to play Words with Friends, and I don't know if Yachty's going to do this, but watch. He will put his paw on my phone and push my phone down, because he does not like me to play with my phone. He wants me to pay attention to him. This is a dog. This is not a human. This is not a baby. This is not your spouse. This is not a friend. This is your dog. This is my dog. And one of the things that I think creates some challenges for us in relationships is we take people for granted. And maybe one of the things we need to do is to consider that. Now, one of you said a little while ago the importance of finding your motivation by reading the Word, getting into the Bible. There are times when I get up and I'm reading my Bible, and my phone will beep, and I'll look at my phone, and my phone will buzz, and I'll look at my phone, and my phone will vibrate, and I'll look at my phone. And some of the most precious time of my day, I'm interrupting in my vertical relationship with God because of this thing. And so I've tried to learn to turn my phone off and not be distracted by that. Jerusalem was where the cross was for Jesus. And Jesus was resolutely setting out for that cross. He was concentrated on that. He was focused on that. And he was not going to be distracted by anything or anyone. Now, along the way, he met Zacchaeus. Along the way, he met a blind beggar. Along the way, he had multiple ministry encounters. But he didn't go off into Jericho and stay in Jericho. And he didn't go off into Bethsaida and stay in Bethsaida. And he didn't get diverted to Jordan. He stayed on his task, and he did his task in that capacity. Two questions for you about this. During COVID, my guess is that you've had extra time to concentrate on some other things. You've had some time to concentrate on some things that you've really wanted to focus in on. What is one thing that you've had the opportunity to concentrate and focus on during COVID that you didn't expect? What's one thing? For me, it was reading. I think I read 19 or 29 books during COVID. I read a lot of books. I kept a track of them, from history to religion to autobiography, just on and on and on. I think I read 29 books during COVID. What did you concentrate on and focus in on during COVID? Give me them. Shoot me. I'm going to wait for 8. I want to wait for 8 answers. So please give me 8 answers. What did you concentrate on? Learn to play the viola. Holy cow. Hey, Arlene, we need a viola player in our praise team on Sunday mornings at 11:15. I'm going to give you a call. Thank you for volunteering there. I like that. What else? That's a good one. I'm impressed. Learn to play the viola. What else? What else did you learn to what did you concentrate on? What else? I'm not joking, Erlene. Don't tell me that kind of stuff. We will volunteer you to get involved. That's good stuff. I like that. And Kenny, if you can encourage her that way, I would appreciate it. Hey, that's a good thing, Rhoda. I like that. Quilting. I bet that's quilting. Hey, Jacob, that's awesome. Jacob, what certifications? Would we know what they are? Bible study, art, and exercise. I like that. Your garden, Peggy and Tom. I like that. Mark, Facebook history. Well, Mark, that sounds interesting. Dan, more reading. I like that. That's good. What else? What else have you concentrated on during COVID? Any other things? I think I'm waiting for a couple more. So several of you out there who have not responded, what are a couple more that... reading through the Bible. Me too, Jeff. That's been a big one for me as well. What else? FaceTiming family. That's awesome. And I bet your little boy and your little girl bet your little boys enjoyed it more than your little girl, Megan. Downsizing and organizing for retirement. That's awesome. I like that plan, Kenny. And taking your preacher out to breakfast, so thank you. Genealogy research. Ooh, that's good. I like that. Walking. Rida. That's a good one. I like that. Any others? I get 2 more. Give me 2 more. What has COVID allowed you to focus in on and concentrate a little bit more on? Anything else? I'll tell you something else. It's allowed me to watch a lot of television series that I've never dreamed about watching. I don't know if that's good or not, but that's... Hey, Angela. Angela was at church on Sunday. I was so happy to meet Angela in person. And Angela, thank you for joining us, and thank you for being with us Sunday. Angela's been online with us for a year now. And I got to meet her in person Sunday. She was at the church. And so how awesome is that? I like that. Thank you, Kenny. Project Management, Certified Information Security. Oh, my gosh. That's impressive, Jacob. Ooh, Erlene. That's impressive, too. I like that. I like that. I have a friend who lives in Kenya that is learning Swahili. And so that's a big deal. So you don't need to respond to this second question. You don't need to respond to the second question. But I want you to think about this second question. COVID's going away. We're going to have more time to do what we want to do. We will not be restricted to our homes. What do you still need to concentrate on in your life? What do you still need to focus in on in your life? COVID's going bye-bye. What do you still need to focus in on? Is it a spiritual growth? Is it staying in the Word? Is it praying? Is it reaching out to your family? Is it staying engaged with your family? What is it? Is it more focused at work? A better work habit? I don't know what it is for you. But I really want you to think about what your next piece of concentration is for your life. So that's the second thing. The third thing, and this is really important. Check this out. In Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 11, this is what the Bible reads. It was some who gave to be apostles, some to be prophets, some to be evangelists, and some to be pastors and teachers, to prepare God's people for works of service so that the body of Christ may be built up. When we think, oh, and one other verse, as a prisoner for the Lord, then I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received. So when we use the word calling, sometimes we mean just preachers and just religious leaders. Becky Werner was called to the music ministry. David Donahue was called to be a pastor. But I don't agree with that. I believe Megan Cessna was called to be a teacher. I believe that Jacob Plummer was called to be an administrator of those types of things. I believe God called Earlene Morgan to be a lawyer. I believe that God called Dan Werner to be a teacher. And when I look at all of your stories and I think about all of you, I want you to think about what your calling in life might be. It might be as an educator, an administrator, a medical professional. It might be as a medicine, a nurse, a doctor. It might be sales. It might be a truck driver. It might be a constructor, construction, a contractor. It might be a plumber. It might be an electrician. It might be police. It might be law enforcement. It might be politics. It could be 12,582 different things. But I believe God calls us and directs our steps to do things, to do whatever it might be. Now, one of the challenges that we have is this idea. There's Eva Flint. See, ADD kicked in. I just saw Eva. Everybody, it's time to say hi to Eva. So take a few minutes. Tell Eva we're glad she came in all the way from Indianapolis. Don't say anything about her being, how many minutes late is Eva? 36 minutes late. Don't say anything about that, but just let Eva know you're glad she's here. So Eva, we're glad you're here. Good to see her. Everybody, give Eva some love. Show Eva some love while I keep talking about this. So this picture of our lives in understanding what our calling might be, it's sometimes people think it's this great mystery, it's this great unknown and whatnot. And a couple of weeks ago, I shared with you that one of the ways the Bible talks about in understanding what God's will is, it's understanding by being thankful, by praying always, and being joyful. And when you do those three things, sometimes the bigger questions start revealing themselves. I don't think God's will is this big mystery. I think it's out there for us to understand and to determine and to see it. And one of the ways he reveals it, I think, is when we are thankful, when we're prayerful, and we're joyful. That is God's will. And then I think we also try to figure out what God's calling is for us when we start seeing, what do you love to do? And we start processing, what do you love to do? For some of you, it might be teaching, it might be music, it might be taking care of people, it might be working out processes, it might be doing chemical, I don't know. Trying to figure out what you love to do is a big deal. And when you figure that piece out, that's kind of important. The second thing, we need to see what our abilities are. So for me, my abilities are definitely not with electricity or plumbing or carpentry. I am not going to be a carpenter. I am not going to be a contractor. That's just not my skill set. And if J.L. Tony's still out there, he can say, amen, brother, because I've tried to work with him before and it's not good. It might be that we need to evaluate, what is our personality like? Some of us have no reason to ever try and sell something because we would be terrible salespeople. Some of us have no reason to ever stand in front of a class and try and love children because we're not good with kids. Some of us would have no reason to be in a doctor's office, work in a doctor's office or a hospital because our personality is we're not merciful. I mean, we've got to check out our personality in this story. And then another piece that I think is really kind of important is, what's our life experience been like? What have we done? What have we done with our parents? What did we do with our siblings? What did we do with our neighborhood? What was our past like that kind of points us in the future of what's going on, and trying to figure out what our calling might be. Our lives are driven by something. They might be driven by regret. Our lives might be driven by anger. Our lives might be driven by shame. Our lives might be driven by embarrassment. Our lives might be driven by addiction. It might be driven by money. It might be driven by status or power. Our lives can be driven by any number of things. And I think God has created within all of us the ability to do something. I don't know what your something is. I know what mine is. I'm pretty sure I know what my wife's is. I'd like to think I have a good idea about my daughter's. But I can't tell you yours. That's between you and God. And that's for you to kind of figure out and understand and try to take the next steps of whatever that looks like, because that's kind of a big deal. You have had amazing teachers in your life. You have. For me, I think of Mrs. Talbert or Mr. Reach. I think of Dr. Faisal, or I think of Dr. Mariotini, or I think of all kinds of people in my life that were just amazing teachers. That was their calling, that was their gift, that was their ability. You, like me, have had horrible teachers. You've had teachers that were terrible, had no business in the classroom. It was a job, and it was not a good job for them. You've seen the difference. You have seen doctors who are simply incredible. And you've had doctors that are total jerks. You've had nurses that are amazing. And you've had nurses that were horrible. You just have. And one of the pictures of our life is trying to figure out, what did God create me to do? And when we understand what God's got us to do, that kind of releases some of the stress. A little bit. I'm not going to say all of it, but it releases a little bit. Because if you're doing a job that you hate, that you're not created for, that God has not made you to do, it's just a place where you can make money and you can get status and power and influence, you're probably not going to be real happy. And it's probably going to generate a lot of stress for you. Kind of my guess. And so when we're thinking about what that looks like, it's kind of important. My wife, she worked hard at Essex High School to help kids figure out what they wanted to do in life. Very hard. And one of the girls that was very, very smart in her class, I'm not going to use her name because there's some people in Essex County in here right now and they would know this girl. This girl wanted to be a doctor, and she was a smart, smart kid. And Yadi's going to lick my bald head. Yadi likes to lick my bald head. I do not know why he does that. But anyway, Veronica tried to get this girl to, before she went to college and started medical school, and started all of her programs, to go to work at the hospital. My wife was an administrator at the hospital. And this kid just didn't want to do it. Didn't want to do it. So she went to undergraduate, got her undergraduate degree in chemistry or biology, I don't remember. And then when she finished that, she contacted Veronica and said, hey, is there any way you can get me a job in the hospital? So Veronica helped her get a job in the hospital, and you know what she did? She helped the surgeon with the tools. And she realized something. She hated it. She did not want to be a doctor. So she spent 4 years, and she goes into the surgical center, not for her. Other people know student teachers who have got a 3-year degree, 4-year degree, or getting a 4-year education degree, and they go to teach for student teaching, and you know what? They hate it. They don't like it. And it's good they find out then, but man, it'd have been a lot nicer if they found out before they got their education degree. Sometimes there's first-year teachers who realize education is just not for them. I have a good friend who was a pastor, and J.L. Tony knows this guy. He was a pastor, and he did it for several years, went through a tough spell in his church, and like a lot of pastors, when they go through those hard spells, he checked out for a while. And he lived and did a really cool job. I'm not going to tell you what it is because JL will know it. But anyway, so he went out and did another career for a number of years. And he called me. He says, David, I want to get back in the ministry. I want to get back and be a pastor again. And I said, okay, let me help you. So I helped him get a church, and he took this church down on the Newport News area. And I vouched for him, talked with the committee, did everything I could do. Man, this old rascal went down there. And he was there less than a month, and he quit because he wanted to go back doing his previous job. And I was so mad, and I said, I gave my word, I helped you get this job, this church invested in you, and you stayed 1 month and you quit. Well, wasn't his calling. It just wasn't, and that's okay. And one of the ways that we deal with the stress and anxiety in our life is kind of figure out what God's created us to do and then do it. So we've talked about motivation, we've talked about concentration, we've talked about finding what our purpose is, and now I'm going to talk about another one that you may or may not think is exactly biblical, but I promise you it is. And the last, not the last, this is the fifth one. This is found in Matthew chapter 26 and verse 38. And here's what the Bible says. He said, then he said to them, my soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me. We know Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane at this point, and he was getting ready to be crucified. We know he's getting ready to be arrested. We know his life is getting ready to be totally turned upside down. When we think about Jesus, we think about Jesus teaching, we think about Jesus doing the healings, the miracles, we think about all the amazing stuff that Jesus does all along the line of the journey. But we don't think about Jesus relaxing. Now, in Matthew 26, he's not exactly relaxing before the cross, but we see several different times where Jesus went away from the disciples, with the disciples, just to chill, just to get away, and just to take a break. And as we deal with all the stress of our lives and our world, one of the things that's very important for us to do is we need to relax. We need to be able to turn our brains off and not think about work and not think about junk and not think about the mess. But that's a big deal. I mean, if you go all the way back to Exodus chapter 20 and you look at the 10 Commandments, one of the big 10 is rest, taking a Sabbath. Along with adultery, along with stealing, along with murder, about building idols and taking the Lord's name in vain, and all those other big ones, God said, it's important that you rest. It's important that you take a time to pause. And I would say it's important for recreation, that you turn your brain off and you go on bike rides, and you go on hikes, or you go and you do whatever it is that you do, and you get some downtime. So here's my questions for you. I got several questions. So hook me up with some good answers. The first one is this. How does rest help us deal with stress? How does rest help us deal with stress? Maybe not us. How does rest help you deal with stress? How does rest help you deal with stress? Look at my dog. He's chewing on my thumb. Why are you chewing on my thumb? Okay. How does rest help you deal with stress? And if I yell ow really soon, you might see my dog be throwing a little bit, but I won't hurt him. What is it? How can rest help you deal with stress? I'm going to wait for 4 answers. 4 answers. Go. Ken Rich is in the room. So Ken Rich, you don't have to go first, but you can go second. Suzanne, it gives us a rejuvenated attitude. That's a great answer. I like that. That's a good answer. What else? How else can rest give us some? How else can rest help us deal with stress? Suzanne from Southern California goes first, so that's good. I would say I'd buy her a Nathan's ice cream, but she lives too far away. Somebody else. How else can rest help us deal with stress? Any other answers? Mark, helps clear your brain. All right, that's a good answer, Mark. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Arlene, it's restorative. That's a good word. Don't bite my hand. It lets us recharge and helps our bodies rest. That's a good word. It clears our minds. That's a good word. I like that. That's a good word. Any others? Any others? All right, that's a couple. You go on here. Good answer, Peggy. Clears our minds. In the last year, we've had more than our fair share of stress. Unbelievable. From politics to economy to our personal finances to just the COVID disaster and all of that. What have you done to rest and relax and have some recreation? The 3 R's, rest, relax, and recreation. What have you done that has helped you deal with all the stress? What have you done that has helped you deal with all the stress? I'm going to wait for 6 answers. Yachty is yes, he is really. Okay, well, he's over there now. He's not going to bite me right now. That's funny. It helps put it behind us. Good answer, Ken Rich. By the way, Ken, I called your friend today. What else? What have you done? What have you done? Okay, gives you a peaceful mind. What have you done for rest, relaxation, or recreation to help deal with stress in the last year? Waiting for 5. Walk and cardio exercise. That's a good one, Peggy and Tom. What have you done for rest, recreation, and relaxation in the past year to help you deal with stress? Hiking. Yes, it's helped me too, Linda. It's helped me too. What else? What have you done? Finding humor. Good deal. I like that. Finding humor has been very helpful. I think that's helped a lot of us, Mary Alice. I do. What else? What else has helped you deal with stress? Other answers? Other thoughts? Anything? Reading books. Okay, that's been a good thing. That's been a good one for me as well. Going to the mountains and there you go. Take David to breakfast. That sounds like a good plan. Crafting and creating. Good answer. I like that. Well, guys, I have 11 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up by focusing on this. The last thing that we think about in the way Jesus dealt with stress and the way that we can maybe learn some things about dealing with stress is found in Luke chapter 5, and this is what the Bible says in Luke chapter 5, verse 15. Yet the news about Jesus spread more and more, so that crowds of people came to hear him and to be healed of their sickness. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places, and Jesus prayed. And so maybe the final way that we can deal with stress really is a Sunday school answer, really is a church answer, really is a preacher answer, is that we pray, that we take time to intentionally ask God for grace, ask God for mercy, ask God for help, ask God for healing, ask God for hope, ask God for whatever it might be, that we literally pause and pray and spend time with our Heavenly Father, and then we take time to listen. I mean, think about this. Jesus had the weight of the world on his shoulders. Jesus had the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he constantly and consistently took time to go off and pray. That's what he did. And I think we need to learn a little bit about that. Think about this for just a second. All of the stress that's in your world. I'm very fortunate where I live. I don't have a lot of traffic noise. I don't have a lot of neighbor noise. I don't have a lot of noise that's coming on. But all the noise around us, that creates stress. That creates anxiety. That creates all this junk around us. The busyness of our lives, that creates stress. It creates anxiety. The demands that we're under, that creates stress. The obligations we have, that generates stress. And I know that's life. I get it. That's really, really important. But there is a very strong benefit to just pause and pray and seek God's face and hear his voice and try just to focus in on what he's trying to say to us to start our day. I don't know if you begin your day with a prayer time. I don't know if you begin your day with a quiet time. I don't know if maybe you can get out of bed and maybe the first thing you do is just pause for just a bit and focus in on God's grace and God's word and God, what he's saying to you. But that first few minutes of the day and just focusing in, trying to hear what he has to say to us and try to connect in that capacity, that's really a big deal. That's really a significant thing for us to do. There are so many benefits to starting our day and starting our journey in that capacity. It's kind of big. So we've talked about a variety of different ways that we can deal with stress in our life, and we've talked about finding what motivates us. We've talked about the idea of concentrating on what's in front of us, our calling and understanding how God has created us, our recreation, and then this final one is meditation on God's Word. Those are some big deals to deal with stress that's around us. So guys, I just want to say thank you for joining with us tonight. Next week, I believe Jordana Ayler is going to be with me, and we're going to be talking about her ministry in Costa Rica. So we'll be having Jordana with us. Just to give you a heads up, I'm going to be doing this through June, and then I'm going to take a break in the month of July, and so I'll take a break through July, and we'll re-kick off in August, maybe even September. I'm not certain yet. We are going to try and do it in a hybrid setting, so we're going to try and do it in person in our church building, but we're also going to maintain this so that those of you who are in other parts of the country can continue to join with us on Wednesday nights online, because a lot of people who normally join us online aren't here tonight, and so hey, that's okay. But we want to be able to be able to be together. So friends, good to see you. Thanks for being a part of this. Erlene, good to see you. Linda, thank you for joining us. Linda, thanks for dinner last night. I appreciated that. Peggy and Tom, thank you for being with us in North Carolina. So it's always good to have our Manassas Baptist Church in North Carolina with us. You guys are a blessing and you make me smile. Thank you. So Eva, JL, you stayed with us. All right, bud. And you didn't even say amen when I was talking about my contractor abilities. Thank you. Lisette, thank you, and thank you for bringing your sister and brother-in-law and Mason. That makes my heart smile when I see you guys sit all the way in the back. I'm going to take away your back row Baptist seats. Nancy Stepp, thank you. Preacher Man, Suzanne Moore, thank you. Mark Facemeyer, tell your dad I said hello. Always nice to have you. I hope you guys can come in the building soon. I would love for you to come in the building, but it's okay if you don't. So I'm glad to have Mark and your father with us. Linda Hagerman, love you too, my sweet friend. Thank you for being with us. Hey, Megan, tell my buddy Kenny I said hello. And unfortunately, I didn't have any Disney stories tonight, but that's all right. And so anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing Kenny tomorrow, and we'll have a good time tomorrow. So Megan, I hope you're out of school by now. Are you out of school yet? So other people, glad to see you with us. Jacob, thank you for being with us. Joan, thank you for being with us. Are you going to be bringing Morgan back to church anytime soon? I'm looking forward to see you. Eva, you're here, and it's okay. 36 minutes late is not a big deal. We're glad you're with us, so thanks for joining with us. Well, Megan, I hope you get out of school soon, and it's not been too difficult. So June 11th, all right. Very cool. Blessings to you, Kenny and Mona. Thank you for joining with us. Glad you're with us. All right, guys, I'm going to log off. Have a good evening wherever you are. Ista down in Alabama. Angela, not quite down in Florida yet. You guys take care as well. Blessings. Love you guys. Miss you. Take care.